Thank you. And you? Hey, Teresa, how are you?
How you doing, Charles?
Yeah, you know me, I'm all about music. It feels dead air. That's why it's called dead air, right? So you want to live it up. Where are you at now? You got a shot? Where? Okay. You doing good out there? Right, right, right. Well, think about it. Yeah, you're one weekend for net profit more. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. Right, right. No, I play music. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna go. Well, no, it's too late. I gotta get ready for next one. Yeah, man. I mean,
out there dancing with each other. They just go dance.
Everything is not a deal.
Nope, not a deal. Nope, just go have a good time. And I just love it. I do. I love it. Pass. Not to be trifled with. She keeps it under control.
That's what she was, man. I said, I got to find me a laundry set woman to mess with.
Yes, but I'm having my Walpole evaluated to see if we can't renovate it and use it for some additional space. Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. It's not, but it could easily be so. It could easily be air conditioned. Yeah. It's the elevator goes up there, and there's a lot of space. Oh yeah, the stairs go up there, but the main elevator goes up there. You just gotta have a key right now to go up there. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I tell you,
No, don't worry about it. You're good.
you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you still have a copy somewhere?
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't find it.
Hey,
But anyway, no big deal.
how you doing?
Steve, how are you?
All right, good to see you. All right.
Good to see you, sir. You doing okay? Good, good.
How you doing? Don't know. Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
You need a copy of it, we can get one.
I know that. Okay. Hey, Walt.
Hey, bud. How you?
Real good, man. And you?
Yeah, Fairport. I don't know where that's at, but that's what I saw on.
They're on the bottom. They're on the bottom floor. It is. They would out, yeah. Out, they're up on the attic. The first floor is Carol and them, and then the second floor is child support, truancy. I think truancy may have moved. They may have moved to school, but child support. Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Hello, sir. How are you? But he owns Iron Oak. Iron Oak. Steve. Steve. They fixed it. It's nice. They put it. They have renovation inside that. Still. Actually, Ackland, that was Gary. Nice to meet you. Trying to solve all the problems of the world.
Try hard.
One at a time. One at a time. Because, we need additional space. And he was trying to sell it. It's right there. The work's already been done.
Set up close, aren't you?
We can. What?
Close.
Say, yeah, see it over there. Second row.
But anyway, so we're doing some, we've got like doing some evaluation of use space in the courthouse. And, the ground floor has never been utilized. You're right, so I'm having to look at that and see if we can do some space.
Thank you.
How you doing, buddy? You don't have anything better to do for entertainment? I just want to know if you got some numbers. Hey, are you in, you still have the Bob in them, huh? Right?
Welcome back, my friends.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, God, I gotta deal with him there too.
Good deal. I saw Bob.
He's in better humor over there though.
You seen this one too?
Yeah.
This is about this.
Yeah. How about this?
I had to see when you're real bad.
You got to think about that one. This one, in case it gets
All
really
good?
bad. But I don't think
It's
so.
the emperor with
Hello.
Been better.
Yeah, I just Mr. Bill. Anyway, so yeah.
are those gonna pop up during the
Sure. I mean, if you kind of give the viewers some eye candy, right? Combine. I know you're not cussing. Well, I'm a local activist.
I still think we need to do the movie.
And how about the Ricky Robbie show? My brother's name was Robbie. He was a Robbie. Hey man, you tell me when we're going to see him.
How are you? Yeah, hey, that's it. I knew we dropped the fresh diesel on your own accord back at the gas station. Hey, Danny. How you doing, buddy? Good.
Bring a solution. Bring your name. You can't do any of those three next call. I mean, that's all. So, I mean, you go ahead. What's your solution? That's it.
If all goes well.
So then next call.
There's other right there on the comment table. Right in front. Yes, me. Listen here. We can act like adults. We can act like we are. You can settle down. Although, when I look at this, and if you don't settle down, you're gonna leave. If you don't like it, we can escort you out.
I mean, that is Check 1 2 1 2. Let's see. 8:56. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I am Rick Godey running around on the social media platforms. Thank you for watching. All this will be archived. ATL Ruston on YouTube. ATL Ruston YouTube. While I have your attention, let me draw you to Lincoln Parish Museum. Going to have their first events in almost 3 years. Ruston's native son, Christopher Kennedy, wrote the book. Still amazes me. First one to write a book about Joe Aye. Louisiana Tech's Joe Aye, from an orphan train to the College Football Hall of Fame. It's going to be Friday night. That's a week from tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at the museum. Free admission. By the way, going to be up in Lincoln Parish. Check that. Claiborne Parish the night before. Christopher will. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that. Friend us up on Facebook at the Lincoln Parish Museum, if you would be so kind as, let me throw up this is the itinerary, or the rundown. This is the rundown. I better get my mic set. Hang on. Two, little hot, little hot, little high. Little hot, little high, little place. Let's check. See. Ooh, 1 minute. 1 minute. This show could get on the road at any time. That sounds good. It might be too loud, huh? Could be hot. Are you hot? Turn it. 29. Oh, you figure it out.
What's going on here, Finny?
Not getting sound on those. Oops. Probably going to start real soon. Let's flash up the rundown again. Yeah, these mics are gonna work good today.
Good morning.
Here we go.
It's Thursday, September 22nd, 9 a.m. This is a meeting of the Lincoln Parish Police Jury Ambulance Committee. I'm calling it to order, and I will ask Mr. Scaines if he will invocate us.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this committee, and the people that's willing to serve on this. We ask you to continue to guide us and give us the wisdom and courage to do the things that be pleasing to the people of Lincoln Parish. We ask you to continue to watch over us and help us as we leave here and give us safe traveling graces. Forgive us where we fail thee, all these things. Thy name, amen.
Okay, roll call. Annette Strawberry. Bill Sanderson.
Here.
Charlie Edward out here. Mona Wilson.
Here.
Jackie White.
Here.
Reggie Skane.
Here.
Walter Carpenter, absent. Mike Rainwater.
Here.
Milton Melton.
Here.
Richard I.A.
Here.
Richard Durrett.
Here.
Stephen Yite.
Here.
Tommy Clark.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Next item up is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So move we approve it.
Second. Been moved by Mr. Yike, seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carried. Public comment regarding the agenda items. None heard, we will move on. Receive and discuss the proposal from Lincoln Parish Fire. Chief Reynolds, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Make sure everybody's got it. Agreement and proposal. With all those costs associated.
Chief, you mind if I say something before you start?
Go ahead.
I was asked to draw up a draft of this agreement, so you have something in writing to compare to the other proposals that you have. So, unlike the Pafford agreement, which has gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with revisions, this is just something I drew up. This is not supposed to be the final form of an agreement. We really wanted you to have the numbers. The numbers, as I understand it, won't change. But like one thing I put in the agreement that you may have noticed is that it says the police jury is entering into an agreement to provide for rescue services in the unincorporated portions of the parish. I'm not trying to say that we're not going to have somebody go to Dubach or Simborough or Shoedron or Downville. That's not the intent at all. The issue that may come up down the road is, what if one of those municipalities does not want the fire district and the police jury votes to go with the fire district? And that's something that we'll deal with at that time. That, as I understand it, won't change the numbers, but I'm not trying to exclude anybody by this. This is just a rough draft. Thank you.
All right, Chief Reynolds.
All right, so I guess the meat and potatoes of this agreement that everybody's concerned about is the cost. We will provide the rescue services outside the city of Ruston. Annual cost for year one, $478,000. Year two, $815,000. Year three, $691,000. Year four, $625,000. And year five, $625,000. If you'll look at that stack of papers that I gave you, the cost breakdown is on that last page. Our annual operating costs are $478,000. That's hiring 6 guys and covering the operational costs. We're going to have added, because you're adding 6 guys, you're going to have additional costs associated with that. We're going to have some additional insurance costs because of the increase in the liability. That's what's in operational cost. The equipment cost includes rescue equipment and a rescue truck. We do not have a dedicated rescue truck. For year one, we were originally asking for $140,000 for equipment. Through grant funding and other sources, we are taking care of year one, so we have removed that $140,000. Year two and year three is some additional equipment, because I feel like personally that one set of equipment isn't enough, and to provide a better service, we would need additional sets of equipment, and a small rescue truck. I guess you call it a quick attack rescue truck or something similar to that. The rescue truck costs we split out over 4 years. Did not include it in the first year, because if I ordered it today, I wouldn't be paying for it next year. I'd be paying for it in 2024 when it's delivered. That's it in a nutshell. Not much to it. And it's expensive. This business is expensive, and we realize that. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that and has those numbers. I'm not trying to hide them. We're going to do everything we can to get outside funding to pay for that equipment. But we can't do that on operational costs, and our operational costs are what they are. We did include a 5% increase in year 4 that carries over to year 5 just for inflationary purposes. Any questions?
Can you kind of explain what we're going to do without that rescue truck, or what are y'all doing right now, since that's going to be a couple years?
Currently, right now, our rescue equipment is on one of our, what we call a brush truck or a wildland truck. So it gets used primarily for that purpose. If we are tasked with providing rescue, we will take one of our existing engines, pull some of the firefighting equipment off of it, and reload it with rescue equipment, and it will become our primary rescue truck. It would also serve the duties as a fire truck, but that's what we'll have to do until we are able to get a dedicated rescue truck.
So you would only have one primary rescue truck?
We would have one primary rescue truck initially. I would like to see us have a truck out west and a truck out east, or not necessarily a truck, but the equipment on an existing truck. You don't need a full set of rescue equipment out in Simsboro if you've got it in Vienna, but you can get by with having a partial set of tools. It allows you to start something, probably allow you to handle 80 to 90% of what it's going to handle, and you've got that truck coming from Vienna to back it up. We have a second set of tools. We've got 2 forestry trucks, 2 wildland trucks. Both of them have sets of tools on them. One of them is completely loaded out as an extrication type truck. The other one just has the hydraulic tools on it. Both those sets of tools are 20 years old.
Do you have an idea of how, percentage-wise, about how many calls, as far as total overall, the percentage that the fire district went on in the past? 3/4, half of them? Do you have any idea?
The numbers that I got from Ruston are roughly 210 calls a year for rescue. That's the number of times the rescue rolled out into the parish. Last year, we did about 80 EMS and rescue calls. If you break that down, it's somewhere around 40 MVAs, 40 rescue calls. The other EMS calls were assisting with, lifting patients and some first response kind of stuff.
Would you mind elaborating on your plan? Like right now you have two firemen on staff at a time.
We have 2 firemen on staff at a time. If we're tasked with this, and we can't hire until we have money. we would add 2 more people per shift. That would give us 2 guys dedicated to rescue, 2 guys dedicated to fire. The rest of our response, as most people should know by this point, is that we are a combination department. We have a good number of volunteers who are active. That the only issue that we have with volunteers is that they work, they have jobs, they do other things. So you may have a fire today where you have plenty of people to do the job, and you may have a fire tomorrow where your response is not as good as it could be. And that's something that every volunteer fire department struggles with, and we are the same way. But those volunteers save the citizens a lot of money in operational cost. And we do everything that we can to support them and give them the equipment that they need. But everything is expensive, and Chief Sanderson, he's kind of set up, well, he's all volunteer, but, he and I discuss all the time, what can we do to get a better response out of our volunteers? And there's lots of ideas, and we haven't found one that works perfectly. So that's where we are.
With the addition of those 6 individuals, will that affect our insurance rates?
It has the potential to. It would help our manpower numbers, because those 2 guys that are dedicated to rescue won't be just for rescues. It's the same as those 2 guys that are dedicated for fire, won't be just for fire. They're going to respond to everything that needs to happen. I can't sit here today and tell you how that's truly going to affect our rating, but it will definitely help.
Do you feel like that by January 1st, you will be able to hire qualified rescue people?
Not the full 6, no. Again, we can't hire any additional employees without any extra money. It takes a while to train guys. Now, we've got some guys that we're talking to that if we get the money, they can come in with very little training. They're people that we know and have experience with. They're already firefighters. So I'm not taking somebody off the street and trying to train them up from the ground. But to me, that's our only concern at this point is the manpower. The equipment, all that stuff, the ability to do it, I think we can handle it, no problem. And I think we can do it with the manpower we have right now, but it's going to be a struggle. And long term, we're not going to be able to do it to the level that it needs to be done at.
So without
the financial support, correct.
So you're not asking for payment until January 31st.
The current agreement.
Hire somebody, train them. How long are you going to be without ample service?
I don't think you'll be without ample service. It's going to be everybody right now is struggling to hire. And we just don't know what that looks like. Like I said, we're talking to guys right now, not 6 guys, but we're talking to enough guys right now that we can be well on our way fairly quickly. But we don't have the money in our operating budget to hire anybody right now.
So the $478,000 was cost for 6 people. At what point do you plan on having 6 new hirees?
As soon as possible.
But not January or February.
I would hope to have them all hired by February. Having them all trained up by February is different. I think we could have them all trained if we hire them January 1, we could have them trained up by March.
All the people you have now are trained, are they?
All the people that I have now are trained correctly, yes.
Are volunteers trained?
We have, all of our volunteers are trained. Well, I'd say that. Most of our volunteers are trained on that. We've got some new guys that haven't been exposed to it yet.
And the good part,
with that with the volunteers, just like you would with a paid, the training is ongoing, it's never complete.
Correct.
We have some volunteers that are trainers,
Correct.
that they're at that level.
We have guys on our volunteer staff that have spent 20 years riding a rescue truck in a big city, running 9,000 calls a year. But they're on our volunteer staff.
So if it can be extricated, they've already extricated it.
Most likely, yes.
But I understand you will be ready come January 1 to do rescue no matter what.
We feel like we will. Again, the concerns is the manpower, and
But you can,
we can work towards that.
Into it.
Yes, correct.
okay.
Y'all, how long can we talk about it? We can work into it. Are y'all okay? And I'm sorry that you're on the hot seat. I know you're doing the best job that you can. This is driving me crazy. We have people that are there. We have people, it's working, it's doing great. This other option is gonna cost us more, and it's gonna take longer. We don't know how long, how many lives are gonna be at stake.
I agree.
And y'all are okay with this? Y'all are okay with your neighbors?
I do not believe that they will be receiving substandard service if Lincoln Parish Fire does the rescue.
Here,
You don't.
I'm going.
I do, and I'm very sorry that, I do.
You have called substandard several times, and I know you've been by the office to talk to me twice, and you've talked about industry standard, but I think we need to be looking and comparing to what the citizens of this parish are accustomed to the levels of service that they are accustomed to. I'm sorry, but I can't go along with using industry standard. I mean,
Lincoln Parish is we're a standout in the state of Louisiana and probably other areas around in so many aspects, from simple things like our GIS system and the level of services that are provided here, and nationally recognized for many areas that we've achieved and we've had in place for decades. The level of service that we as a Lincoln Parish citizen, that means City of Ruston, Village of Shudron, City of Grambling, the town of Dubach, Vienna, Downsville, Simsboro, and all of the unincorporated areas have received a level of service in emergency services that all of the communities, all of the neighborhoods around Lincoln Parish envy. And that is in part, and not given to any single agency, but it's going to have come from all of the agencies working together. And that also includes the additions and the level of services that have been provided by Pafford as well. We are not operating at the standard level of service. The level of service we have been enjoying is by far above what anybody else around enjoys. My concern is that we are targeting and going toward standard level of service.
Even if they had everybody hired January 1, even if they were exactly equal on both sides, Ruston doing fire and rescue and ambulance, Pafford doing ambulance, and the fire district doing rescue, even if they were that way, if you look at the cost over 5 years, Ruston's costing us about $3.5 million, Pafford and the Lincoln Parish Fire District about $5 million. It can't get any more simple than that. But even if we don't get to there, the service is not the same. And lives, it's going to make a difference in people's lives.
Here's where I stand on the cost. When this was originally presented, there was no question of can we have the taxpayers pay more money? It was, they are going to pay more money. At least this way they have an option on where that money goes. At the end of this, the parish residents can either buy the City of Ruston fire truck or they can buy the parish fire truck. They can support their own fire department or they can support the city fire department.
So eventually, as a mayor, my constituents have to pay for this, probably, eventually. Somehow, some way,
Yep.
they gotta pay for it.
Yep.
They already asked me, why am I even considering it? Because of the cost. How can I explain to them that it was the better deal?
To go with us and,
Yes.
because it's gonna help their fire department.
I think right now we should be continuing to look at this proposal that he's presented. We've gotten away from where we need to be. We're supposed to be looking at this, and if they're going to be ready at the January 1, that's the most important thing, that there will be no interruption of service. And to talk about all these other things, we're not really, we're supposed to be looking at this proposal. And we need to improve our fire district department so that it can handle everything that the parish needs. We've talked about this working together between the two entities. That's going to continue, and that it would just make it even better for the parish and for this area if you had two entities that could do the same thing. Because you could have a serious thing on the railroad or on Interstate 20 that would require more than just one group being able to handle it. And we need to bring this fire district up to so that they can handle it just as well as Ruston.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. The fire department needs support. I've been telling Kevin for years that they need more money so they can get better equipment and bring the fire department up.
That's what this is doing.
But do we sacrifice ambulance service to do it?
I think the answer to that is yes.
You're saying Pafford can't do as well as Ruston?
That's what I'm saying, exactly.
I disagree.
Pafford's
Well, how
going
can you not? City of Ruston's gonna have 3 people on a truck. They're gonna be probably paramedics. That's what the citizens are accustomed to.
Well,
And I think we
They might have people in the truck, they've been doing it.
I brought it up at the last meeting. Pafford has a piece of equipment on every truck that subs for a person.
No, sir.
And that
It doesn't. A thumper is not a person. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It is not a person. It helps do CPR on a patient, and that is it.
Chief Womack, we have been very unfair to you in the way we have grilled you from this committee, and I apologize for putting you on the spot again, but if you would allow. The piece of equipment they're referring to is affectionately known as the thumper. Have y'all ever seen or utilized one?
Ours are auto pulses, but yes, we have. Most ALS ambulances have them today. That's a common piece of equipment on any frontline ALS unit.
And so in responding a typical first out ALS unit, it would, and in history, be powered by 3 persons plus the additional piece of equipment the majority of the time?
If it requires CPR, yes, there would be 3 people plus the piece of equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order, I think, Mr. The Chief finished his proposal, and then the next item on the agenda,
Well,
That's right.
Do we have any more questions for Chief Reynolds? Anything to be discussed with Chief Reynolds?
Chief, if this parish worked out a method or a process or a policy that enabled you to transition into the position without jeopardizing the level of service within the parish, and allowed you the opportunity to bring your level of capabilities up to what would be expected by the citizens of Lincoln Parish, would you be willing to enter into some form of agreement that did that in a manner that provided for you to transition to that without having a change in service and take care of your financial needs in that to be able to do so?
I believe that we would be willing to do that. I can't speak for the board without getting their guidance on that, but I believe that they would be open to that for sure. As far as the ambulance provider, we're not in that dogfight, and I'm not going to choose a side. We have a great relationship with both providers. I think they both do an excellent job. I don't feel like we're talking about 2,000 runs overall. 10% of that is rescue. And I don't feel like just because it comes our way, there's going to be this immediate drop and decrease in the level of service. That's my personal opinion. You can have yours, and that's what you're here for, but our guys can provide the service. We need better equipment, and we've got the extrication equipment on the way, but our guys are trained, our guys are very good at what they do, and I don't foresee a drop in the rescue side. That's the only piece that I can feel for you.
Any further questions for Chief Reynolds? Thank you, Chief. Now, we come to the item number 7. Discuss and take action on all the proposals that we have before us. And we have 3. We have the proposal from Lincoln Parish Fire, we have the proposal from Pafford, and we have the proposal from the City of Ruston. So, darn, you can't turn it back up so quick.
Chairman, I think this committee has done what we was set out to do, or asked to do, put together 3 proposals for the citizens of Lincoln Parish. I think they're all good proposals. I think they all stand on their own. I think, there's always something wrong with every proposal. And I think that as far as the financing, that's not in our room of things to do. That's going to be up to the jury to decide all that. We figured that out right off the bat. So my thinking is that we send these 3 proposals forward to the jury to work out the details and do what's best for the people of Lincoln Parish.
Do I hear a motion?
I want to discuss before we make a motion.
Yes, we will.
Make the motion and then have the discussion.
No, I want to discuss the proposal before we make a motion on sending anything anywhere, because we in this committee and we got all this, and I didn't come in this to kill time. I got stuff I could be doing for the last 4 months, and we're coming out to a timeline. I think we need to discuss this before we just make a motion. We can discuss these proposals, and then we can see where we go from there.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the agenda. If I'm wrong, somebody correct.
Oh, no, you're right.
I think you're right.
Mr. Chairman, this is a time for discussion, but if somebody makes a motion, there's a motion on the table.
There's no motion on the table right now.
I understand, but if somebody wants to make one before somebody else feels like we're through with discussion, if there's a motion, we take action if there's a second.
I'd like to, I don't mind discussing it, but we've all read them, or I have. I suspect that everybody has, and,
Well, I want to make, if that's okay with you, I would like to discuss what my concerns on the proposal before we go to the motion, but it's your call.
He hasn't made a motion yet, so.
Thank you. My concern would be the timing. Can I go?
Go.
Okay. My concern would be the timing here. We're in the middle of September going to October, and we're talking about January 1. And to me, it's a no-brainer. When you're running government service, the city of Ruston have offered us a year to get this thing right. In their proposal, they say, just come to June, and if you don't like what we're doing, you cannot go with us any further. But if we go to something else, we're gonna be stuck there for 4 or 5 years. And we saying if and maybe. See, renters can't control it, see, supplies don't get here by January 1. But we'll be entering into an agreement. I'm waiting on parts for 2 patrol cars, got them in different shops, been waiting for 3 months. Man told me yesterday he don't know when they're gonna get those parts. So I'm concerned about that. And I'm concerned that we're gonna toy around with this, we're gonna come into an agreement, we're gonna put the fire district in a position they don't need to be in for things they can't control, and we're gonna have services sitting in Ruston, but because of personal agenda, somebody feel like their feelings is hurt, somebody's gonna die or perish in this parish, and I don't wanna be a part of that. That's all I got to say.
I think we were tasked with coming up with the best proposal and sending that to the jury. Now, that's my understanding of what our charge was.
I think we should make a recommendation to the jury and send them these proposals so that they can see why we made this recommendation. But I think it's up to us to recommend a proposal to them.
Mr. Chairman. Chief Womack, may I put you on the spot once more? And a point of clarification on your proposal. As I recall and interpreted, your proposal is for a 5-year contract.
Yes, sir.
With the possible option if at a later date or at some point, we as the committee or from the parish level asked to reduce that to ambulance only. I think there was a figure in there in clarification if we chose to move forward with the City of Ruston proposal and at a later date, after time allowed for the other levels of service to come up and get prepared, is the City of Ruston's proposal open to reducing that contract and removing the rescue from the areas outside of the incorporated area of the City of Ruston and provide an ambulance-only service?
Yes, sir. It will. At that notification, it will remove $100,000 from the next year's.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I will not bother you again.
No, I'd like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that the 3 proposals be submitted to the Lincoln Parish Police Jury for review and take action, namely City of Ruston, Pafford, Lincoln Parish Fire Protection District Number 1.
Seconded.
We now have a motion and a second.
This is just taking too long.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You said the proposal was for 1 year. It's 5 years, right? Yeah, you said 1 year.
No, it's a 5-year proposal.
That's what I thought. I was just trying to clarify.
Yeah, that's a 5-year proposal. But they said if they, if you can't do something, you can go back and ask, and they'll
If the agreement as we have before us now from the city is, it's a 5-year deal, but at any point during the term of that agreement, if the police jury gives the city notice 90 days prior to December 31st that they want the city to get out of the rescue business, then that would terminate the city's responsibility for rescue as of December 31st of that year.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I have been informed that before we take a vote, we have to ask for public comments on this motion only. Do we have any public comment on this motion? Sheriff Williams.
I wanted to just address this committee. I've worked with the fire departments here in ambulance services for 3 decades, side by side with them day and night on the interstate, train wrecks, whatever. What you're asking Chief Reynolds to do, you're setting him up for failure. I mean, to me, I have to make a lot of hard decisions at the sheriff's office. To me, this is an easy one. I think you should take the 5-year contract with the city. In the meantime, figure out how you can get some money, more money funneled to your fire department and your rescue, and build them up. Give him a chance to succeed. But what you're doing right now is you're setting them up for failure, and you're putting our citizens at risk. And I just can't sit back and be quiet about that anymore. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have one.
Yes, Mr. Godey.
I just want to make sure I understand the motion. We have 3 proposals on the table, 1, 2, and 3. So am I to understand all these committee meetings that we've been doing in the interest of the community could have been done in the first meeting?
No.
Why not?
Comment period, it's not discussion period.
Oh, okay, I thought I heard an answer. But it could have been expedited. I'm thinking out loud again. I always find myself talking to myself at this table.
From the public, I would just like to, I think it's worded, it's 2 proposals. Ruston Fire's doing a proposal for it, for ambulance and rescue, and the other 2 are together. You can't take, am I wrong? Stafford and the fire district are together, so we have 2 proposals. So we may need to adjust that motion, or just make sure that's clear.
Well,
It's not,
technically you have 3, because the other option is Ruston does EMS, Lincoln Parish does rescue.
maybe someone else can explain it better. It's 2 proposals, because it's together.
We're tasked with providing, first in this was the emergency medical.
Right.
The Lincoln Parish proposal does not include that. In the Pafford proposal, they do not perform the rescue, which has been added in under the necessity that it be performed as well. And the Pafford proposal does not provide that. We have, like Dr. White said, a couple of options here. It's going to be Ruston's proposal, or it's going to be the Pafford Lincoln Parish proposal. And we have been tasked with making a recommendation, not passing the buck on the decision. The option that we also have on the table per Ruston's proposal, we need to be ready January 1st to maintain the level of service that we have enjoyed. There's one option there. That would be the City of Ruston's proposal. Lincoln Parish has the capabilities. They need equipment. They need additional manpower. That equates to, we have to come up with a means of increasing their funding. Now, at what risk, what options, giving them, tasking them at this point without giving them all of those things puts us in jeopardy of a reduced level of service from the rescue side until such time they get up. Accepting the Ruston proposal and making that as a recommendation to the parish with the requirements that we come up with the funding to transition rescue over to Lincoln Parish once they have met the financial needs, manpower needs, and equipment needs to accept that level of service with the same capabilities that Ruston has got now is the only viable option. And I am very concerned that in whatever we choose short of that, we're going to suffer.
We have a motion and second.
Is it still the public comment period?
Public comment.
Are we still in the public comment?
No, that ended when nobody sheriff got up and left, nobody else commented. Would you like
Yes,
to
there's
come to?
three other comments or four in there.
Are we still in the public comment?
Would you like to make one?
If we're still in the public.
Go ahead.
My name's Logan Hunt. I represent District 5, the Shooter area for the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. I've been in the fire and EMS world. I've been doing it since I was 18 years old. So I've done it for 21 years. I've done it in the Shooter Volunteer Fire Department, the Lincoln Parish Fire District. I've worked for Pafford EMS in college. In the city of Grambling for Pafford. I worked for the Shreveport Fire Department and Road Rescue 1 for 7 years. Done every kind of extrication that y'all are speaking of. And I represent my people in Shooter in that area, and I want to do it well. So I want you at least to hear what I have to say today about this. How many, and you don't have to answer, but I'd like to know, how many of you have worked as trauma code, where somebody's dead or dying because they've been involved in trauma? I know Bill has, I know Chief Clark has, I know Dr. White has many times. I have. And there's a lot of men in the back of this room that have. And it's not fun. And it's really not fun if you're the only one in the back of that truck by yourself. You cannot replace. You can't even put a price tag on an additional man in the back of a truck. You really can't put a price tag on it if he's a paramedic. Okay, that's 2 large bore IVs, 1 in each arm. You need 2 people back there. You got CPR going, IVs, you're pushing drugs, you're patching holes, this guy's bleeding out. You can't do it. So just simply from a service standpoint, and nothing against Pafford. Pafford is integral in our emergency response in this community. And when I say integral, extremely integral. When calls come in out west of Simsboro, they're there in Arcadia. They're there. They're responding. They're getting dispatched by 911. They're doing it. When one of our grandmothers or parents has a stroke, and they get them up to the ER, they call Air 1, and they're at our airport. That is one of the most integral pieces of emergency medicine. It's out there at Ruston Regional, in orange and white and blue, and we need that. And they're handling all our non-emergency calls so that the Ruston Fire Department can do what they do. And they're backing them up when they're busy. They're backing them up. They're backing each other up. Simply from an EMS standpoint and a level of service, and that's nothing. Pafford is a for-profit company, and that's how they have to operate. Shane mentioned, one of you asked me, why don't you have 3 people on a truck? Why don't you have 3 paramedics on a truck? Because it's not cost efficient. It's just not how it's set up. I've seen and I've done fire-based EMS for over 20 years, and it works. Typically, it's a more expensive system. What the proposals that we're looking at here, the option is cheaper. Bill's mentioned a transition plan for the rescue services to the parish fire district. I think that's great. Chief Womack said it last week, and Chief Reynolds has said it. The fire district needs to be doing rescue. Of course they do. Fires have gone down significantly over the last 20 years. They need to be doing rescue. And they need additional funding. And let's figure out a way to do that. Let's figure out a way to work together. Let the jury.
It's supposed to be a comment period on this motion only. Is this a comment on this motion?
He's commenting, Charlie.
On this motion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. I honestly don't remember where I was. But I'll comment directly on the motion.
Please.
If you'd like.
That's what this is supposed to be.
Okay.
We're going to have another public comment period later.
After you vote. The jury formed this committee, in my mind, with the intention of solving this issue, solving this problem. Solve it. That was the directive. Solve the problem. If the jury wanted to vote on this, the jury could have voted on this back when we started on it. Why would we set up a committee if we're not going to let the committee do what they're supposed to do? Y'all have been up here for hours and hours and hours, and I just cannot fathom passing the buck to the police jury, in my mind. I cannot fathom this committee not taking action and standing up and saying, this is what we think. You've got medical doctors here, you've got mayors of the municipalities that in what's been discussed, their citizens are going to be paying for this as well. If you don't vote, in my mind, if this committee doesn't vote, the medical doctor doesn't have a say-so in it. The mayor of Shooter doesn't have a say-so in it. The mayor of Downsville and the mayor of Dubach don't have a say-so in it. They're trusting their police chair to make that decision for them. And I would ask, why would you put a mayor on this committee if you didn't want his input on it? And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Then let's vote on this motion, which is to hand these proposals to the police jury and let them decide.
I'd recommend a roll call vote, Mr. Chairman.
You read my mind.
You don't want to speak motion.
I don't remember hearing the second either.
Yes, repeat the motion.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that 3 proposals be submitted to the Lincoln Parish Police Jury for review and take action, namely Hafford, City of Ruston, and Lincoln Parish Fire Protection District. That is the motion.
And it was seconded by Mr. Young. We will now have a roll call, and Ed Strouder is not here. Bill Sanderson.
Absolutely not.
I will vote no also.
Question, does the chairman vote except to resolve a tie?
I don't know.
I'm asking my question to the attorney.
Yes, chairman gets the vote.
Mona Wilson.
No.
Jackie White.
No.
Reggie Skates.
No.
Walter Carpenter's not here. Mike Rainwater.
No.
Milton Melton. Yes. Richard I.
Abstain.
Richard Durrett.
Yes.
Stevie Knight.
Yes.
Tommy Clark.
No.
So we have 1, 2, 3 yeses, 1 abstention, 7 noes.
I would like to put a motion on the table that the committee recommend to the police jury to enter into a contract with the City of Ruston. We further recommend and agree to help or work towards a funding solution for the Lincoln Parish Fire District and bring their level of service up as they have need of and set out in their proposal. And at such time as they are prepared and are ready, that we reduce the Ruston contract by the removal of rescue service outside of the corporate limits of Ruston and continue the EMS service to the entire Lincoln Parish.
Second.
We have, all right, who seconded? Y'all fight over it. We have a motion by Mr. Sanderson, and I can't repeat it.
I can't either.
And we have a second by Tommy Clark. And essentially, may I paraphrase your motion?
Absolutely.
Is that we recommend that the jury accept the Ruston proposal with a caveat that they work towards getting Lincoln Parish in the rescue business and removing Ruston out of the rescue business in the parish.
And do that as expediently as possible.
Do that, okay. And that's the recommendation that this committee makes to the jury.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll call for public discussion on that before we vote. Any public comments on that? No public comments. Now we can...
Can we discuss?
Sure.
I'm concerned about I'm not against bringing the Lincoln Parish Fire District up to snuff, but us getting over into saying recommend that we do that, I mean, of course we would recommend doing it, but I mean, I'm not sure that part of our job here is to do that. I think that make a recommendation and the jury look at that, and if they need us to do that, they will definitely come to us.
I agree. I don't think we need to muddy the water. We need to make a clear recommendation to the jury, and then if we need to do something after the fact, we can do something else. As far as with the fire district, we can tell them, we'll work with them to help expedite the fire district. But I think the recommendation from this committee needs to be short and sweet.
I cannot help but agree with you on that, and my reason for that, I absolutely am not in favor of anything that leaves Lincoln Parish high and dry. They desperately need support from the residents of Lincoln Parish to continue and to provide the level of services and for them to move forward. They are in desperate need of our support financially.
Mr. Chairman, if I could say.
Yes, sir.
The motion as is includes the recommendation that y'all don't seem to be in favor of. If the motion passes, it's with that recommendation. If you vote against it and it doesn't pass, there can be another motion that we accept the City of Ruston's proposal and leave it at that. But as stated, the motion would include the recommendation for the fire district.
That would be simple. Is the possibility to amend my motion at this point?
I think we need to vote on it since there was a motion and second, but if everybody agrees, you have the vote, if the vote's no, then you make a simpler motion. Yes.
Unless he withdraws it, restate it.
He can withdraw it, can't he?
Do you want to withdraw your motion?
I will withdraw my motion and restate with the permission of this committee. I make the motion that we recommend to the Lincoln Parish Police Jury that we enter into a contract with the City of Ruston for rescue and EMS services.
Second. According to their proposal.
According to their proposal with, and And both have stated clearly what their intents and what their allowances, and Chief Womack has reiterated, yes, he's in agreement. So I make that motion simply to enter into that contract, but with those understandings. Does that clear things up or muddy it more?
It did right up until the button with those.
Yeah, that's not part of the motion.
We need to just tape his mouth with that.
Cut it off where I seconded it.
That was, once it's second, my motion was set.
We do need, did you second that, Mike, or? All right, motion has been made by Bill Sanderson that we accept the Ruston proposal. It has been seconded by Mr. Rainwater. Public comment. Hearing none, do we have any discussion over this? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote, and it will be a roll call vote also. And Ed Strouder is not here. Bill Sanderson.
Yes.
I will vote no. Mona Wilson.
Yes.
Jackie White.
Yes.
Reggie Skanes.
Yes.
Mike Rainwater.
Yes.
Milton Melton.
Yes.
Richard Dirt. Aye. Richard I. Abstain. Richard Durrett. Stephen Ike.
No.
Tommy Clark.
Yes.
We have 3 no's, 7 yeses, 1 abstention. So the motion passes. The committee now recommends that to the police jury that they accept the City of Ruston proposal.
This is a recommendation.
Now we move on. Do we have any further business or anything to discuss that anybody can think of on this committee?
What's the next police jury meeting day?
October the 11th. I will be there to report the findings of the committee, as if they don't already know. Any committee members are welcome to be with me if they want to. So, we come down now to,
I would like to say, because in the beginning, a lot of the police jury didn't know what was going on, and they voted no to start with. I want them to have a copy of everything, the proposal, whatever. I want them to have ample notice, not just, here it is, and we're having a meeting. I want them to be able to have it ahead of time so that they can make their decision appropriately.
All the proposals.
Yeah, but I don't want them to get them at the meeting.
well, at least 2 juries have their hands on them right now.
I know that, but I want all of them to have a hand on it.
They all get that information.
We'll make sure that they get that
All that
information.
information goes out Friday before the meeting, right?
I can send it out today if you want to.
Well, yeah, but
There you go,
yeah, they
send it
all
out
do.
today.
They all do get the information, though. I just clarify. Don't just get charged.
Since we've made this proposal, or the committee has voted to pay it for Ruston to continue to do it, I make a motion that this committee be disbanded.
We have a motion and second.
I think that's the police jury's job.
Appointed, and so.
I think we're appointed by the police jury. They can discharge us. We can't quit. We can quit.
I don't think we can.
Mr. Legal Counsel, we need some more lawyer in here.
All right, you've got a motion and a second. You have to have a vote on it, but no matter what you vote, it's not up to y'all to disband. You can refuse to come to a future meeting, you can ask that you be taken off the committee, but ultimately it's the police jury's call, but you need to vote on the motion.
So it is the police jury's authority to disband Mr.
I withdraw the motion.
Last thing I had was, well, I got two more items, set the next meeting date, and I'm gonna leave that one open.
Charlie, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for being a contributing member. It's all been good.
Are we still in a public comment, or is that still on the?
I'm fixing to go for public comment. We got one more public comment. And then we're gonna dismiss. Public comment.
Yes,
Anything you want to talk about?
just the whole shoot match.
I've been a citizen here for 76 years. Absolutely made the right decision, Bill, by recommending Ruston to continue with his service. Now, I'm very proud of our Lincoln Parish Fire Department and the job that they do. Pafford too. But let's get them up to speed like you're talking about. But right now, in January, we're going to be ready to roll. So, and that'll also give the parish time to get up to speed.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. I think Mr. Postel had his hand up.
Two things, Mr. Chairman. Number one is I'm working on some financing things that have just come about that I've been doing some research on. I'll be discussing that with some of the jury leadership here the next day or two. And number two, there has been mention, and once again, I'll be discussing with the leadership about the possibility of a special police jury meeting on this vote, not putting it off so long until the regular October meeting. So just be aware of that, and we'll get that out in the public if that does occur.
Thank you. I would also like to comment, Mr. Postel, that through this process, you've been very helpful to me in this committee, and sometimes I give you an agenda on very short notice to get it out the door, and you've managed to come through for us.
Thank you, sir.
And we appreciate that very much. Certainly.
I just want to make sure everybody's clear. All this is a recommendation. The police jury will have the final say. If you're obviously interested in this or you wouldn't be here, you may want to be at the police jury meeting where this will actually be decided, because we got two members here, three, but the jury is going to decide what to do. They have the final decision, so you may want to be at that meeting to make your voices heard.
Or better yet, contact your police juror before then.
There you go.
And talk with them.
Yes,
ma'am, you're right. Contact with us. But it's still important to know what your people want.
Mr. Franklin, you got your hand up?
I just want to make a comment on the fire department, since we're, the parish fire department, since we're trying to help them get equipment. I just received a call from Claiborne Electric. They were approved Tuesday night for some grant funding to go towards some of their rescue equipment cheaper on, so we're making a little bit, but I mean, baby steps, we'll get there.
One more thing I'd like to say. We could not have done any of this without the expert help of Lewis Jones. Thank you. He's been very helpful through all of this, and even with all this felonious conduct.
Thank you. Charlie, if I may?
Yes.
I want to thank every member of this committee. A lot of us have been I want to use the word passionate, maybe beyond passionate, about our feelings in this. Not all of us have agreed on every motion that has hit the table, but every one of us has worked diligent and hard at coming to resolution with this, and for the work, for the efforts that every one of you put into it. From the very bottom of my heart, thank you for your work in taking care of the people of Lincoln Parish. Thank y'all.
I think it goes without saying, if you don't
Yes, sir.
What I